welcome. I'm Jennifer and this is Kate, and it's time for another edition of Catholic Cooking.
So each month we try a new to us recipe from a different Catholic cookbook, and we never know how it's going to turn out.
But in any case, this month our featured Catholic cookbook is Catholics in the Kitchen by Alexandra Greeley. And from that, we are going to try the corn and tomato soup recipe with rice, because that just sounds like a good end of summer recipe. Use up your tomatoes, use up your corn.
And to go with that, we are going to be making Our Lady's blueberry cornbread. We first saw this recipe on the Catholic All Year blog, but I think the original one just comes from allrecipes.com.
And then recently we paid a visit to our favorite apple orchard, so we have a lot of apples to use up and enjoy. And looking around online, we found this recipe, microwave maple baked apples. This one came from, of all places, a website called Catholic Health, which evidently is a hospital system in New York, but they do have a nice website and they post healthy recipes.
So like we said, it gets interesting. We never know how it's going to turn out. So let's go ahead and get started.
So we're going to start today with Our Lady's blueberry cornbread, so it can be baking while we get the soup on. And I have to admit, we've been wanting to try this recipe for quite a while, ever since we first saw it.
And August is the month that is dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So this could be a fun recipe to try in her honor, but it could also work for her birthday coming up on September 8th.
So we are really curious to see how the blueberries work with the cornmeal. Is it going to be really good, or is it just going to be really weird? We don't know.
I guess we'll find out. And for this one, you need flour, sugar, cornmeal, oil. You need buttermilk, salt, eggs, baking powder, and the blueberries.
So we started with dry ingredients, the cornmeal, flour, sugar, and baking powder, and whisked that together. Then we did the wet ingredients, the eggs, the buttermilk, the oil, mixed that up, and then mixed them together. Then we folded in the blueberries and put those into our fancy pans. And then just put those in the oven, and that was the result.
Now we're on to the soup, and you might recognize the author of this cookbook, Alexandra Greeley, because she also wrote Cooking with the Saints.
But this cookbook is quite different from Cooking with the Saints. This one features 19 different Catholics who love to cook, and they share their stories of how they got into cooking along with their favorite recipes.
So if you are someone who loves to read a good cookbook, this one is really fun and really interesting. The corn and rice soup that we're making today is a recipe that comes from Father Bill John Melisson, who is a priest in Louisiana.
And we really enjoyed reading his story of how he got into cooking, and then also hearing about all the different cooking he's done at various parishes throughout the years.
I suppose it's wrong to wish that he would get transferred to our parish so we could see him in action. But in any case, he says in the book that he has never yet tried cooking with alligator, but since it's allowed during Lent, he is not ruling it out completely.
But you will not be seeing us cooking with alligator today. We are sticking with the soup, and for that you need rice, hot sauce, salt, canned corn, one just regular, one creamed. You need canned diced tomatoes, and then also diced tomatoes with green chilies. Then garlic and minced onion, dried or fresh, up to you.
So we started by boiling the water, and then added all of the canned tomatoes and corn. Mixed that up and let that come to a boil. Then we added in the garlic and the onion and the hot sauce, all of the different spices, and then the rice. And then just let that cook.
And then finally, we are going to try the microwave maple baked apples. So here they are. A couple of videos ago, we tried potato chips in the microwave, and since they actually turned out really good, we are definitely on board for trying more microwave recipes.
And this recipe came from the healthy section of the Catholic Health website. So we just kind of got intrigued by that, kind of trying the healthier version of this.
Right, this version is a little bit healthier than the butter, brown sugar, more traditional recipes that you see, but we don't know if it will taste as good. That's what we're going to find out.
And all you need for this one is apples, cinnamon, and maple syrup.
So we cored the apples and put them into the pan, and then filled them with the maple syrup, and put the cinnamon over top, and then just microwave those. And then lastly, we added some of the leftover juice.
All right, everything is ready, and it smells so good in here. Every one of these items smells really good.
So we're gonna go ahead and start with the apples.
Okay, so we're trying these while they're still warm. I have to say, these had a really big wow factor in the microwave. It would be really fun for kids because the maple syrup is bubbling all over. It's like a volcano in there, but kids would need to be supervised.
So nice.
It is very good. It's very flavorful, the cinnamon, the maple sugar. If it happened to be a fall day when it's 90 degrees outside, like it is here, and you don't want to heat up your oven, you can still make baked apples this way.
All right, so now we're on to the soup, which is still pretty hot.
The one thing that Father Bill John mentioned, I don't know if he goes by Bill John or Father Bill, was that he likes his soups thick, and this definitely is more like a thick chowder, so yeah. Our boys like soup thick also, so this would be a winner here. It's also very good. It just has a little kick of spice without being like, so it's really good, yeah. It's so easy to make, super easy. You could ramp up the heat with a stronger hot sauce. We went kind of conservative on the hot sauce, but this is perfect. This is about as spicy as I want.
The cream corn also gives a little sweetness to balance it out. And so it works well together.
Yeah, this is really, really good. He's a real chef, no fooling.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then last step, the cornbread.
Yeah, it was a little tricky to get out of the pan. Most of them succeeded, but this one came from a particularly crumbly loaf.
It was very tender, moist bread, so maybe it wasn't the best to put in the fancy pan, but you know what, it did work. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, now how does it taste? Oh my goodness, this is also so good.
Not overly sweet. You get a lot of flavor from the blueberries.
This would be a great option for breakfast. You could even use some of your leftover maple syrup to drizzle on. It would be so good. Now we have to decide which recipe is the winner, and it's tough, you guys.
It's been a long time since we had a video where all of the recipes were good.
You go first, Kate.
I think I have to go with the soup.
Okay, why?
It's a good soup.
It is a really good soup.
It's just a really good soup.
Again, it's so hard, but I think I'm gonna go with the cornbread because I love corn, I love popcorn. It's second only to my love of peanut butter, and this bread was just so good. So very nice. And now just a few thoughts about the cookbook, Catholics in the Kitchen. It's definitely not your average cookbook because it has only 19 recipes in it.
There aren't any pictures of the food itself, but didn't really mind that. It worked out.
Right, there are line drawings of the food, but no actual photographs, but that did not bother us at all. And the trade-off was that we got all the great stories of the chefs themselves. So I don't know, this is a unique approach, but we really enjoyed it.
Some of the recipes in there are a little fancy.
They're above our pay grade or skill level.
We did find ones, obviously, that worked very well for us.
Definitely, there are recipes for every level cook in here, so
Okay, so that was our Catholic cooking for the month of August.
As always, we thank you for watching. Let us know down in the comments which of these recipes look best to you.
So we hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.